How do I, 36F, get my neighbor, 33F, to stop trying to sell me stuff? Too long didn't read. How do I get my downstairs neighbor to stop selling me products from her at-home business? My boyfriend and I moved in 2 months ago to a rental duplex. A family with 2 kids lives on the first floor. We don't share a ton in common, but that's besides the point. The wife has an Arbonne business, which means she sells overpriced protein powder, bars, mixes, etc. from home. She added me as a friend on FB and immediately invited me to her FB group for the business. When I made a post on FB about how I'm going to try and get my physical trainer license, she messaged me privately to tell me all about her own business. I have been out of a job for a year and a half. I have also moved 5 times and now live in an area with very few decent paying jobs. I made it clear that I am way behind in bills and depend on my boyfriend to get us by right now. She kept writing back on FB, telling me she understood. I apologized and directly told her I cannot afford to buy anything right now, but wished her luck, and she said she understood, but wanted to create a gift pack for me anyway. I again reiterated I could not afford to buy her stuff. She left the gift pack on our stairs. It was a plastic bag of samples. I tried the powder and one of the bars, and figured she got that I was in a hard position and just trying to include me in on her social thing and business for when I did get a job. I figured that was that, but no. She just sent another message asking how I liked the products and if I had questions on how to use them. I don't really know what to do at this point other than not respond. I already made it clear I can't find decent work to pay my own bills. Have been out of work for over a year, am working part-time at low-paying jobs and can't pay any bills, and am relying on my boyfriend 100%. There's no question I'm struggling. Her attempts to include me and proceed to sell me expensive crap are really demeaning and insulting. I want to return what I haven't used to her doorstep, honestly, but that is harsh and vindictive. I think I will just not respond because I've told her about 4 times already I can't afford my own bills right now, never mind expensive protein powder. Is that what I should do? How would you handle this? Perhaps take a gander over at r/unteam. Wow, awesome suggestion. /r/unteam. She is not trying to sell you stuff, she is trying to recruit you into her downline in a pyramid scheme. She is not being nice, or kind, or friendly. She will tell you to use debt to join her downline. It's a scam through and through. Never do it. She is most likely doing much worse than you are financially, if you are not deeply in debt. I would tell her to stop trying to scam me. Arbonne is evil. Your neighbor doesn't have a business, she is in an MLM. It's totally fine to tell her no and keep telling her no. Up to and including fuck no. People who have been sucked into these types of schemes have zero morals left, so you don't need to feel bound by normal social rules and politeness, they sure don't. It sounds like she's in MLM. She won't take no for an answer, many of them don't. Like other commenters said, look at r/unteam. There is also a largish community on YouTube. I would look at too. Good luck. I would try to stay far away from her. She knows she's being pushy and violating boundaries. She's doing it intentionally as a hard sell tactic. Just unfollow her on Facebook and leave DMs on read. If she talks to you in person, just be vague. Like you're really busy these days and so you don't have time to catch up. The point is that you don't owe her anything. You don't need to be rude, but also you don't need to engage at all. Don't comment on whether you liked the products or didn't like the products or anything like that. Just give no info. My 26/F 9-month boyfriend, 31/M, shockingly said he lost his feelings for me. Prehistory. We met early January 2020. Officially dating since early March. Until lockdown in mid-March, we spent 3 days/nights a week together. When lockdown hit, it started with me WFH from his apartment. As I was always at his place, I officially moved in June 2020. In July, he stated he was extremely happy before, but even happier after he met me. We've been happy despite lockdown, telling each other this, working out together, cooking healthy meals, ignoring each other during work hours, generally being productive, laughing tons, intellectually stimulating each other, etc. We were proud of being so happy during lockdown, while other couples drowning in arguments, breaking up and such. The shock started last night after watching an unrelated emotionally loaded documentary. After watching, he broke down in tears on my shoulder. I asked a few times what happened, until he reluctantly answered. Apparently for a few weeks, he has not been in love with me. He trembled while whispering things in a very scattered manner, such as, "You're great in every way, but I don't think I can marry you." Usually people get more sure as time passes, but I get less sure. But I don't know why work is stressful, you're like a sister. But then backpedaled, you probably love me more than I love you. I can't give you much, work is probably more important, it doesn't feel the same anymore. I remained calm and asked him questions such as, what made you feel this way? Were there any specific incidents triggering this? Is there anything you are lacking? What do you wish for me to do? He wasn't able to give me clear answers. He mentioned the same things over again. Although he reassured me that I am great in every way, I'm empathetic, intelligent, kind, funny, etc. I see the same in him, and we never had any major issues. He just doesn't know why. I suggested therapy for him to detangle his feelings, which he agreed to. Suspect this could be triggered due to a hidden depression triggered due to lockdown and not having enough outside world interaction. Work stress. Just plainly lost his feelings for me because I am not the one. So, I want to ask you guys, what should I do? What could be the reason behind this? I feel so lost. Supplementary facts. Just FYI, he runs a startup that isn't that successful at the moment. He hasn't had any long-term relationships the last 8 years. Doubt he found someone else due to lockdown. He reassured he is still attracted to me. He still tries to be intimate. Too long didn't read. My live-in boyfriend lost his feelings for me. He cannot state why. What should I do? I think you should move out. At the very least, moving in that quickly seems to have been a mistake, and maybe he thinks so too. You both need space to sort this out, but at the end of the day, I don't think this is going to end with you two together and happy. He might not be in a good place for a relationship right now, and that's okay. But you can't fix him. He should want to be with you. You shouldn't have to work toward that, you know? You moved in, what? 2 to 3 months after dating. And now you're suggesting therapy because he doesn't have feelings for you anymore? That doesn't sound right. Think he genuinely is just not as into you as he originally thought, and you want this to work out, so you're exhausting all possible options. It sucks, yeah, but come on man. You started dating in January and living together in March. You moved in while you were both heavily infatuated with each other. Infatuation isn't love but is often confused with it. The initial honeymoon phase doesn't last. Apparently for a few weeks, he has not been in love with me. Suggested therapy for him to detangle his feelings, which he agreed to. I suspect this could be triggered due to a hidden depression triggered due to lockdown and not having enough outside world interaction. Work stress. Just plainly lost his feelings for me because I am not the one. So, I want to ask you guys, what should I do? What could be the reason behind this? I feel so lost. I mean this in the kindest possible way, but it doesn't matter what the reason is. He's not in love with you. Therapy can help him figure out why, but it's not going to change his feelings towards you, and frankly, it's really not fair to yourself if you sit around and hope he'll appreciate what he had. If one person doesn't want a relationship, it's over. I don't think suggesting therapy is fair. Fact, he communicated his feelings to you appropriately. There's nothing wrong with him, but sometimes people change or realize that maybe aren't as good a fit as expected. Everything you described sounds like good friends, but that doesn't necessarily mean long-term success in a relationship. The important thing is that neither of you did anything wrong. It's upsetting because it came out of nowhere for you. For him, it was probably going on longer than he's willing to say. I'm very sorry for you, but do you want to be with someone who doesn't cherish you? My 21F boyfriend, 21M, wants to take a break from talking for the rest of the month. Hi everyone. My boyfriend of 1.5 years and I normally talk many times throughout the day, whether it be checking up on each other, memes, or talking about daily problems, normal stuff. We're also around each other all the time at school, but seeing as we're on break we likely won't visit each other for a long time. Either way, he's definitely my best friend and I'm pretty sure I'm his. Most of the time my boyfriend actively seeks me out to talk. He could be getting in the car to drive to the gas station and he'll still call me even though he'll see me in 15 minutes. I've gotten really used to stuff like that from him. He has problems sometimes getting distracted from schoolwork by me, so we'll work in different rooms or I'll spend some hours outside or with friends to mitigate that. Well, tonight he called me to tell me that he wants to challenge himself to not be on his phone and not get distracted at all by other people, since he really wants to work on himself. That means I might not hear from him at all for about a week or 10 days at a time, his words. But when I asked him if he'll still see his friends, he said probably. Also asked why don't we stop with the silly unnecessary texting, and just call each other for a few minutes before bed when we're already not productive, which he shot down. I'm extremely upset at the thought of basically never hearing from him, and I'm not sure where this is coming from. We haven't fought in so long, and I'm not really able to ask him since he's muted my calls and texts. Side note, he knows I've been having lots of troubles with my dad, I've been fairly sick, and I have barely any friends in the area, and while I'm not at school talking to him has been my greatest source of happiness. He all of a sudden doesn't seem to care, and gets quickly angry when he heard me begin to cry because I'm guilting him. What do I do? Why might he have out of the blue started feeling this way? I'm devastated. TL, Doctor, my long-term boyfriend out of the blue told me he wants to stop calling or texting for the next month while we're long distance. Edit 1. I really appreciate everyone's support and encouragement. I'm not quite ready to end the relationship, but I'm slowly preparing myself for the possibility. A part of me thinks he may be waiting until after Christmas to do this, but I still don't know what his reason is other than he misses being alone. I called him this morning and he immediately got frustrated and hung up on me. Edit 2. Thank you so much for all of these responses. I'm reading all of them very carefully and I'll try to respond to all. Reading these have just smacked me in the face and made me realize how little self-worth I've had this entire relationship. And this by far is not the worst he's put me through. I'm young and extremely in love with someone who is likely a narcissist or at least has narcissistic personality traits. I hope other people can learn from this thread, and take it easy if they're going through something similar and amp. LT, 3 Thank you again everyone. Edit 3, I've noticed a few comments suggesting that I may be putting a lot of pressure on him with my current life events and considering how he's my main source of happiness. I think that's true to some extent, but I'd just like to note I rarely open up about what's going on in my life unless he forces me to. There's been times if I passively allude to something going on he genuinely won't remember, and that frustrates me enough to never bring it up again. Either ways, I do agree that my feeling that he's my only happiness is too much to put on him at times. If that's the source of why he may have gotten burnt out, then that's regrettable. It's also my responsibility to make sure I have stronger relationships with friends for both my sake and his. However, he genuinely hates the majority of my friends at school and often refuses to drive me anywhere, and says they're bad influences on me. There's been a few times when he's known I have plans with someone in like 15 minutes, and he'll bring up past arguments or rehash problems right before, so I'll start crying and cancel my plans. We've had problems in the past with him isolating me from other people, and I think that's definitely contributing to the problem we have now. Also, I remember he admitted to me that he feels incredibly lazy when I'm around, and at the beginning of break he told me he used to love being by himself, but now all he feels is anxious. It used to mean he'd check in on me every hour to see where I am and who I'm with, send pictures of my surroundings to prove it so I'm not lying, etc.